Hello, everybody, and welcome to A World Awakening. I'm so thrilled tonight. We are holding space for Andrea Perron, who is working on her own healing right now, and we'll give a little update later. But Mary Bassett, the wonderful Mary Bassett, is my co-host tonight. Yes. And Tim Shaw is here to hang out with us.
I went this way.
He's going to kill me for saying, he is a legend, and he truly is. God. And we're
that's
so blessed to have you here.
Yeah.
Well,
dear Lord, that's like deep. That's like. I hope you guys got the galoshes on, because that's like crazy. You know what? You want to know why I'm a legend? Because I just outlived everybody else. That's all. That's the only difference. Don't let anybody kid you.
There's a couple of us out there.
Yeah, you're
right up there with you.
Yeah, right about.
You've been in this field for so many years and have done so many great things. In fact, we were talking right before the show about how many fundraisers you've done this year. So
quite a few. Listen, it keeps me off the streets at night. Yeah. That's the way I feel about it. It just keeps me honest, keeps me busy. That's the way it works. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know how I am now. It's my big push is preservation. I volunteer at a cemetery digging up tombstones because I can, and I mean, there was a lot of places that asked me to do fundraising for them and help them out, and so I did, and it's a lot of fun. I was gone a lot of weekends, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, we got to share some of those fun moments that you've had and interesting moments that you've had, and I got to see you in Dundee.
That's right. That's right. You know what? It was so nice to go back to Dundee. Dundee is always. It's such a nice place, and
all three of us were there.
Yeah. Well, listen. Sometimes I wonder about Mama Mary, because I would go there and people would be talking and there'd be nobody in the chair. So I often wondered what was going on, if Mama Mary was invisible or if she was a spirit or what. I every so often I just walk by and go,
like a shapeshifter.
I'm not going to go, and I'm not going to listen. Everybody talks to whoever. Just, and then all of a sudden, poof, she'd be there.
Right. Well, she is a magical ascended being. So there's that.
We know that. We know that. These things are all possible with that.
Right. And she's always talking about and doing work for higher vibrations. So what happens when you vibrate really high? You can't be seen, right?
That happens with me. That happens with me when I eat chili. I eat chili, and my vibrations are really high, and nobody wants to see me then. Oh, that's wants to see me or can't see me. It's a somatics, I guess.
Right. Andrea's going to tune into this. Maybe not tonight, but she is watching all the shows afterwards. And she's going to be cracking up. It'll be good for her. She's going to go, oh my God. Deb and Tim and Mary all together. She'll love it.
It can be dangerous. It's always dangerous with her. I'm just going to tell you that. But she's my dance partner.
Yes, she is. And
I
know I was so bummed because my old Facebook that I had a couple years ago and had zillions of photos and videos on it was deleted. It got hacked and deleted. Well, on there I had some fabulous videos of you singing to Andrea, you singing to me, you and Andrea dancing, just all of that, and I don't have them anymore. So.
It's funny because it's almost as if hackers target every so often. And of course, yours truly never saved anything. All those, again, I'm in the same boat as you. All those photographs, all those things that we had, they're priceless. But we never, you don't think about it. Now, excuse me, I have 2 of these, 1 terabyte. I triple back up everything now.
Right.
And it's funny because it's like, I'm trying to think how many, I can't even remember how many shows audio shows I had. I had lost, I can't remember. I had about 350, 400 audio shows when I was at the old Pair X network and CBS.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost so many because I had them on a hard drive or on my laptop hard drive. And when everything got hacked, I lost almost all of it. Luckily, I was able to save, a good chunk of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like, it's a shame when they go, but it's, I think of it like this. I was going to say, this is my hard drive, but we all know that I'm at the age that this is mush. So,
I'm there with you.
so now I'm at the point where I just go and did that happen or did I imagine it? I have to remember that, and it's like, it doesn't really matter because either way, I'll smile about it.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But it's funny that you say all that because I was talking to a friend a few days ago about Andrea and how we met. We actually met we were both in a chat room on Blog Talk.
Oh, really? Oh my God. Is that still around?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. But I was getting ready to launch Mystical Awakenings.
Right.
The same week, and in fact, like a day apart from the day she was going off. She and George Lopez with World Awakening. Right. So it was, we were kind of giggling about the fact that we both had awakenings in our show title and brand new shows at the same time. But, all of those shows that we did on Blog Talk are gone.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gone. So,
it is a shame,
sad.
But you know what? I mean, I think about, luckily I was able to save, I think I'm going to have to go back and look because Pair X was just bought by Ron Kulik and they're bringing some of it back. And he asked if he could have my catalog to fill in or whatever. And I said, sure. And I have to look, but I believe I still have the very first interview I ever did with Andrea. I'll have to look for that. I'll bet you I do. Because I think I lost if I'm not mistaken, I think I lost like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years worth of programs. So that would be about right. Cause I met her at, oh my God. I can't remember the name of the event, but I remember it was in Atlanta and it was insane. That's all I'm going to say. It was insane because it was a fraternity weekend and
oh boy.
Oh my God. I was up on the 22nd floor of this hotel and Zaffis was running around and
were there togas involved?
Pardon?
I just want to know if there was togas involved.
No,
were there any togas involved?
No, believe me. I got stuck in an elevator with 11 women, all dressed in sausage dresses. And I was the only guy, and I am just like, God. Dear God, I should have taken a picture because nobody would have believed it. I said to him, I said, can't believe it. And everybody was so drunk that they kept hitting every button for every floor. It took almost 25, 30 minutes to get up to where I got off the floor. And it was insane. That's all I got to say. Well, that's where I met Jonathan Lento too.
Oh, okay.
At that one, Jonathan Lento was a good friend of ours. And
so what do you remember what year that was?
Oh God, I can't remember. I can't remember what year that was. I have to look up. I'm a hoarder. I save everything. So I probably still have the flight, the tickets in one of my files somewhere. But yeah, I'll have to look that up because that's where I first met him. And, that was actually even before I started collecting oddities. So that goes back quite a few years. And I remember we were talking about, he was just starting to collect Asylum pieces and he was just starting to collect clowns.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's going back he's been gone quite a while, so that's going back a long time. Did I have hair? My beard might have been Deb, here's a question for you. When you met me, when you were unfortunately stuck in an elevator with me,
yeah, it's an elevator thing with you, isn't it?
It is. I am always in elevators.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What color was my beard? Was it gray or did it have a little brown left in it?
It still had some brown left in it.
Oh my God. That's going back.
But you still, the grass was not growing on that busy street. Up. So
I gave that up in 93. But yeah, because I remember, because it was like, trying to remember, you're old when you go and you tell time by surgeries. So I think I had like my second surgery. So that's going back probably about 15 years, at least. Right. At least 15, if not more.
Wow. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I think I met Andrea. I actually think I met her a year before I met you, but I'm not positive. But it seems like, it's probably been about 15 years.
Yeah. So it's been, crazy. Mama Mary, see what happens when you hook up with these two old farts here? We're strolling down memory lane hand in hand.
No, I love that. I remember the first time I heard Andrea speak, and I don't remember, it was at a Paracon, but it was probably a good 6 years ago at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember being so inspired by
she was great.
Not just the words that she was saying, but the love that she emits. Just the pure love you can feel from her when she's speaking to everybody. Like she changes the room.
Well, all I gotta say is you haven't seen her in an airport when our flight is canceled and she's trying to get her luggage. That's a whole different Andrea right there. Let me tell you, I love her to death. That was Sault Ste. Marie. How many times I never get out of? Whenever I went up there, I never got out of Detroit. Out of I think 13 times I went up there, I think I got out of Detroit twice. So yeah, she was. I remember that well. She was there with her sisters and her dad. Mm-hmm. And I always remember it was like
they arrived very late.
Oh my God, they drove.
Very stressed.
I remember they drove, and I stayed. That year. No, I take that back. I can't remember. I've slept on the floor of Detroit more times than I think some of the meth heads have. But it's funny because I think I was able to get a car. That's right. I was able to get a car, and I was going to drive straight up, and then I went and I stayed at this Hilton. Oh my! Well, it wasn't a Hilton. It was something, and I knew I was in trouble when I walked in, and there was like bulletproof
Oh, geez.
And she asked me what floor I wanted to be on, and I remember she said to me, she goes, "Why don't you back your car up against the light standard so they can't jimmy your trunk open?" I remember that one. And they got up there, I think they got up there about 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I got there about 10 because I was in this room for about 3 hours, and I just said, I got to get out of here because all I heard was a foreign language being spoken outside of my house or outside of the room, and a lot of doors opening and shutting. So I knew that there was some kind of transactions going on. So right, I said,
that is not where you want to be.
Oh no. And I should have known when the price was $79 a night.
There you go.
Yeah.
And listen, in that area.
Not always a good deal.
No. Listen, if I was in my 20s and 30s, I would have just fit right in, but not anymore. But yeah, that was, I always remember that. And they got there. Mm-hmm. Like I say, early in the morning, and everybody looked, we all looked like drowned rats because everybody had circles in their bags underneath their eyes, and everybody went out there and did their best. Everybody did great up there. Everybody spoke or whatever we did, And that was the very first time I ever saw everybody that was kind of stuck go and actually, like, I think everybody made it to like Friday night at 9:30. I think everybody was done at 9:30 on Friday. Everybody had to go. But here's the best part. The best part. So here I am, no luggage. So I'm on the phone as I'm driving, and I'm going, well, is there a place that I can buy some clothes? I have no clothes. I have no toothbrush. I have nothing, you know?
Oh, jeez.
So I remember Timmy Ellis says, listen, there's a Walmart. We have two places. I forget the other place, but Walmart. Oh, that's all right. So I get in there, grab myself a pair of jeans. So I go to get myself underwear. I'm going to tell you what. I go and I'm looking. Here's a package of 36s, a package of 38s. Here's a package of 40s. Now, I used to be, a little bit larger than I am now. Package of 42s. The next size up was 52 that they had there.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, well, if I go and at that time I was taking like a 44, I think. And I'm thinking to myself, if I have to, I will go and buy bobby pins and I will buy that 52 and wrap it around me and pin the elastic. But somebody must have found there was one pack in my size and it was stuck in the bottom underneath the 30s, and I going through everything and eureka, I found a pair. So I was like, I was good for that one.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, and her sisters.
That'd have to be the worst to get somewhere with no luggage.
Well, yeah, now you just get to the point now where it's like I pack so much extra, and I'll be sending, whenever I do anything now, I usually send it up if I'm not driving, and make sure that it gets there before I leave for the airport in the morning. So I know that, along with any kind of merch I have extra underwear and my extra toothbrush and all my extra stuff that I have with me. But I was like, smart. That was smart. But her sisters were hysterical because it was like herding cats. Her sisters were boom, boom. Everybody was going out for a smoke. It was like, where is everybody? Oh, it was hysterical. They were just and laugh. And I mean, it was, we have no transportation. Nothing is there. We're all stuck.
Yep. We
got a choice. Either wait for the next flight, which I think was like 10 o'clock Saturday morning, or was it was Saturday. No, it was Friday morning because the con started on Friday, or hopefully find a vehicle to get out. And they were hysterical because I remember Andrea going and Roger going, "Where's that kids? Where's that?" And Roger, how Roger gets. Roger's getting all crazy and and they're hurt. He's trying to hurt everybody in there. And Andrea is going, "I want my luggage." Going, oh my God, it was great. I have to say that was one of my fondest in Detroit, was watching the Perron family just masterly. She got her luggage. I'm going to tell you, I don't know how she did it, but boy,
I don't know.
She got her luggage.
Andrea has a way.
and I remember there was a lady from Florida, and I saw her the next day, and I'd seen her, as they drove up, or they flew up, and she had been wearing, the next day she's got the same clothes on. And she goes, "I got to go rent a car." I said, "What do you mean got to rent a car?" She goes, "I got to go back to Detroit because my clothes are still in Detroit." Now, they had been able to send our clothes. They found our luggage and actually sent them up that, I think it was Saturday. Saturday we got them. I got my, and I will say that for Delta, my suitcase was only slightly damaged, that I just tossed out when I got home because all the zippers were tore off and everything. So it was just like, it's one of those things. But, it's funny because you get a chance. Andrea is just, she goes from, "I love you all," to, Oh no, you're going to do exactly what I'm telling you to do, and it scares me because all of a sudden it's like, which Andrea are we going to talk about? Who we going to get?
Right. Well, it's all wrapped in one, and I think, Andrea is a very passionate person. So when she is up here and her vibrations are all loving and light, that passion is intense. But boy, if something, really rattles her, like the abuse of a person or an elderly or an animal, or you guys know what I'm saying, that passion in that way is also very intense.
Listen, I did road work my entire life, and I had bulldozer operators that that would run if Andrea gave them the look. I'm just telling you because even I was like, okay, we're gonna step aside here. Okay, I'm just gonna watch. We'll watch and see what's going on with Andrea. I love Andrea, but I'm gonna just watch. I'm just gonna watch for a while. But she is oh my God, she's hysterical, and puts her and Zaffis together. We started laughing where I can't even remember where we were. The three of us were someplace. And Johnny Zaffis and Andrea were sitting on they were sitting on a some kind of like a couch or something. And I was standing there. Well, Zaffis is going, I told Roger that I was the first one with you, Andrea. I was the first one. I could have married you. I could have been your son-in-law. Well, Andrea, I thought she just let him have it. And Zaffis was laughing so hard. I was laughing so hard. I almost peed myself. I was laughing that hard. Zaffis laughed so hard he fell off the couch because they didn't have arms. He rolled off the couch and he's holding his stomach and he's laughing as hard. It was amazing. I always remember that because it was like,
I would love to see. I would pay to see that.
that was definitely a peak moment. I cannot remember exactly what started it, but and every time he'd go, Andrea, Annie, and she'd go, that's not how you say my name. Yeah, it is, Annie. Oh my God. And she'd turn around and just give it to him. And the two of them would just bicker. They would bicker like old married hens, man. They were but it was so funny. 5:30 in the morning. We're on this bus going to the airport. This is the luxury of being brought into these events. So 5:30 in the morning, we're on a shuttle. The two of them. Now, usually Johnny is like half asleep. I mean, he's just, hey, listen, he's old. He's 3 months older than me. So he's old, So he goes and I forget what happened. And the two of them, they're sitting across from each other. And I remember Dustin Perry and I looking at each other going, it's too early for this, isn't it? And then it's the minute, and Andrea was laughing, and she got on the plane. I always remember this little tiny plane. We're heading probably either Minneapolis, Minnesota, or Detroit, or Chicago.
Right.
And just a little tiny puddle jumper. Oh. And I see John like this. I go like this, Dustin, poke him to see if he's still living. Poke him. He's knocked out, But the two of them they were great together. I have, those are the fond memories that I have of when we're all together. So, well, you know what happened in Toledo, right? Did you ever hear that one? Did I ever tell you that story?
I don't know. I might have, but let's hear it.
God. So Greta, who is assisting Andrea, and we're in Toledo, Ohio. We're at a little Paracon, great little Paracon, and so she's signing books and she is doing her Andrea Perron. I mean, she is like Andrea Perron on steroids. She's just like so sweet, and people are coming up and they're telling her stories, and she's holding their hand and she's looking soulfully into their eyes and like this. So I come walking over, right? I come walking over and I'm going, "Hey, Andrea, when I grow up, I'm going to take you to the prom. I might even buy you a corsage." And she goes, "Well, you'd better buy me a corsage." I said, "Well, if I buy you a corsage, I just want to let you know that I don't put out on the first date." She looks at me and she goes, "Well, I do." The whole line of people, there must have been 20 people in line. They were like this. The look of absolute horror that all these people in line had, because they couldn't believe that the two of us actually said that to each other. And she goes, "That's just Tim." Just Tim. I remember that. Oh my God.
That's what I love about your relationship with her. You two can just go back and forth like that, and it might be total BS and it might not, but nobody has a clue except the two of you.
That's it. I mean, she was so cute, and I always remember when we were dancing, and she's over there, and somebody went to take a picture of us dancing, and she had a fan, and she put the fan up in front of her face, and she goes to me, she goes, "I really don't want anybody to see us doing this." She goes, people are gonna be talking. I said, they're gonna talk anyway, you know. Right. But yeah,
you're probably going to talk more because she's hiding with the fan.
Oh yeah, well, but who the hell would even see us? I remember that bar we were in was dark, and it was so packed that, and I don't even know. I mean, you couldn't tell if they had any kind of air conditioning on, and the sweat. I mean, we're all of us were just. I always remembered. I was like that. I remember going back to my room, and of course, you know, I left early, 3 a.m. I left early, and I thought, you know what? I can't take the house. I can't take any of these room parties. I gotta go. I gotta sleep. And I remember getting in my room and just like the sweat, I could wring it out of my clothes. It was so hot there. And Andrea, she's just dancing away, and you know, just being as sweet as pie. But she was funny, and some of the stuff that she comes out with. I can't say some of the stuff that she comes out with. I really can't, because oh my God, you know, and all I'll hear is, "Can it, Shaw? Shaw." That's what I get. Shaw. That's when I know that I'm in trouble. Shaw. Okay, that's enough. Shaw.
Kind of like your mother saying Timothy.
I'm like this. You got it. You got it, Andrea. But yeah, she's my sweetheart. I miss seeing her. I haven't seen her for now about a year now. So, but you know what's so great? Every so often, we'll text each other, and that means the world to me. And it's just great to hear from her. And that's I think is it's so nice. And you know, we're all at that. You know, it's funny. I was just thinking about this today because. I was going through some of my old programs and the encore programs and getting them ready, because we have back in the day you could use licensed music and stuff. Now you can't. So now you have to, I have to edit it out and replace the music and stuff. And I'm going through my list, and I'm going dead. And I realized at that point that none of us are getting any younger. And it's not the passing of the guard, the changing of the guard, but it is the fact that a lot of us have had to slow down. I mean, I've had to slow down health-wise, and Andrea has, and we all have, let's face it.
Absolutely.
And it's, I think about 25, 30 years ago when it was like, "Deb, where are we going? Where are you going this weekend? I'll see you up there." It was one of those things. Mm-hmm. And you could go and you could just keep going, and you could just keep, week after work a full-time job, Friday come, get in the car, go, and then come back on Sunday night and then go back to work on Monday, But it's funny because now a lot of us have slowed down, and it's almost we're not the active participants that we used to be, but it's almost a lot of us have become the teachers. And Andrea is probably, and even just, and a lot of people don't realize in these vodcasts the impact that you have on so many people. And Andrea definitely has one of the greatest impacts of all of us. I mean, without a doubt,
hands down.
And people, when I was thinking about that today, again, it's not that I was sad about everybody, all these people that I knew or that I interviewed that were gone, but it's the realization that, let's get our acts together and leave some more stuff behind, because it's like, gee, Deb, how long have I been going and writing finishing that last book? Well, I got 2 books sitting there on my laptop that I have to edit, and then I just have to publish it. How long has that been? Oh, what, 6 years? 5 years?
Probably.
So you know
7 years.
It's a realization. Let's go. It's a reality check. Let's get out there and let's leave something behind. And that's what I think is so special about Andrea, because she's first of all, the trilogy that she's leaving behind, that is a classic. That is pure. That is a classic, unbelievable account of the Conjuring House. But even more important is after it. Because those, was it I forget the Lighthouse of Darkness? I think that's the name
House of Darkness, House of Light.
I never get it right. I just call it that book. 1 of 3, that book. But I mean, when you start looking at what she's leaving, what she has also put out there, the galactic family, and the realization of there has to be something more. It's just not spiritual, but it has to be something more in the universe. And you start going and you start reading these books, and you start understanding that probably in 50 years, people are going to pick up her book and say, wow, she was ahead of her time. This is all common knowledge now.
Right.
And this is stuff that, people don't really, they accept it, but they, it's like that iffy, that whole iffy feeling, the iffy opinion that they sometimes have. And that's what I love about what Andrea does, because she is beyond ahead of her time.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think
definitely a pioneer.
Yeah.
Like just a pioneer at making the paranormal and the supernatural and all of that actually normal.
The other thing,
normalized
and
it.
Bringing it together.
Well, that's exactly it. That was the point I was going to add, because for thousands of years, that's the way I'm going to say, thousands of years. That's all these people. You were a ufologist, you were a crypto guy, you were a ghost hunter, and nobody ever really crossed over for years and years and years. And I never understood that. Bill, I can't, yes, I can never say his last name. I got a chance to finally sit with him and talk with him when we were in Dundee, finally, after all these years. And I interviewed him 1,000 years ago, so I'm going to have him on my show.
You really are old.
Listen, RJ was just a child when I was bringing down the 10 Commandments, man. Just telling you that right now.
I'm not so sure about that.
I just look good for my age. But she really was one of the very first forerunners of going out there and actually mixing it all together. And I think that's what was so important about what she does and how she speaks. And she talks about energy, and she talks about, the manifestations, and she talks about, the what ifs. She fills in a lot of gaps with what ifs. And that is probably one of the biggest things that a teacher should do, is not give you the answer, but bring up the question and let the question answer itself. Let that bloom. Let the student figure it out for themselves. That's another one I took classes with the tracker Tom Brown Jr. And that was all called coyote teaching. Allow the student to understand, pose the question, and let them experience it. The other thing, guys, I got to tell you, and I know, Deb, you've seen it 1,000 times, and Mama Mary, I think you probably saw it, where she goes out there and like invites the Galactic family.
Calls them.
I'm going to tell you something that is so disturbing to me, because I'm going to tell you what. Now, you guys know all the craziness that I've gone through. You guys all know, I've been, last year I got knocked to the floor for the first time in an investigation. I've been scratched and all this other crazy ass shit. And what I've gone through was nothing compared to the first time I stood out in that parking lot and looked up and went, what is that?
Right. Were you there the very first year that she did it at Paracon? Both of you? Mary, were you there?
I was not there. No.
Okay.
I think I started coming a couple years after that. Okay. Yeah.
Mary, I stood there. Rosemary Ellen Guiley, who was about this tall.
Yep.
She was standing next to me. I love that one. I always remember her, the late Rosemary Ellen Guiley. I went and I always remember, I looked up there and I go, and you could see it, whatever it was on the horizon. And I'm just like, is that the jet path? Are we, what is that? And I mean, I had experienced something back in the Western New York. We had a flap in the 70s. And when I was younger, not as young as RJ, but I was, RJ is, just a little bit younger than me, but
no, I think he's a little older than you.
No, he's not. That's my buddy. But I experienced something, and I always remember that was the exact same feeling. All of a sudden, I was like transported back to the 70s. Before disco. We'll talk about disco another day. Oh. But disco, we'll just like, no, you know how it is. But I remember having that exact same feeling as seeing that as a kid and not being able to understand it. And I remember somebody on their phone was able to go and check for flights or something. And there was nothing.
Rosemary.
Yeah, so there was no flights.
All her apps going.
Yeah, so it must have been her. And I always remember that it was like, what is it? And I remember Rosemary not knowing what it was, Mm-hmm. And I was just like, this lady's got something going on, man. I don't know what it is, but this lady got whole lot of something going on there. Yeah. And she did it another time. I forget where it wasn't up north. I can't remember where. You know what, Mary? This is what happens when you get old. You can't remember where you were, the event or whatever, because they all start to roll into each other. But she had done that.
That's because you had so many good stories.
Oh,
she did that at all of the events after that.
And I remember looking at it and getting that same feeling. The second time I had witnessed it, and I thought, okay, first time, I don't know. Could be a flock of seagulls. We're up north. Who knows what the hell it is up there, Bigfoot's got wings up there, You don't know what the heck's up there.
Right.
But I always remember that second time seeing it, and it's like, it looked like the exact same shape. I always remember that, and I'm like, that was, to me, was so amazing. And I think that's, in my research, I've found that people who are really energetic, positively charged. People who can focus that energy are able to manifest this stuff. Whether she manifested it outward or she called it inward, I don't know. But it was it's just something that I will never forget that. I never, ever, ever forget that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then, of course, I went in there and I drank. That's when I was still drinking. So that I went in after that and said, I got to drink because I don't know what it is. You know, we could listen. I was afraid. We were all afraid of. The big topic of conversation after that was who's first to get anal probe. But that's another story for another night.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. And with that conversation, Andrea's calling him in. Come on. These guys are all getting drunk. You're going to have a blast.
Oh, my God. But yeah, I always remember that. She's singing and everything. I was like, but you could feel the energy. That's the one thing. That's last year I got a chance to, I do a fundraiser for the Palmyra Museum. Palmyra, New York is the birthplace of the Mormon religion. And it's the house of, where Joseph Smith lived and, the first prophet of the Latter-day Saints. And he went and allegedly, supposedly, saw Christ and God and conversed with them in a place called the Sacred Grove, which was a little bit farther away from the house. And the religion, the religion actually, the organization owns this whole area, the Sacred Grove and Hill Cumorah and all that. So my whole life, I've always wanted to go there. So that, I'm overnight there, and I said, well, hey, I'll get up at 6:30, even though I went to bed at, I think it was 2. But I get up, I'll go over there because I don't want to see anybody, so I'm kind of walking through there, and the energy that I experienced walking through the Sacred Grove was peak. You could feel it. It was the best way I can describe it is if you take tuning forks and you whack them and you put that end of the tuning fork on your forehead, on the third eye, and you can feel that energy that's coming through. That's what it felt like. And I swear to God, that's the same energy that I felt. I remember the first time I think I was more shocked about what was going on than anything else, but that was the energy I felt that second time. It was pretty close to that because it was like a peak energy experience. And as someone who, has done, Reiki and studied spiritualist healing and all that, hands-on healing, it's, it's so palatable and it's so physical. And when she would do that, it was like, oh my God, it's like, and I love the fact, again, 5:30 in the morning, we're on the drunk bus going to the airport, and I remember Amy Adams was on there, and she was, and I remember Andrea was showing her photos, and so yours truly has got to do this. I'm over to I'm going to be honest with you. Amy Adams is short, so I could see over her head with no problem whatsoever. And I remember seeing one after another, and I'm thinking, wow, that kind of consistency is truly amazing. So, and up until this point, guys, I was not a denier, but I was one of these people that it was like, I don't know, I'm not sure,
right.
And after that, after working with, with Andrea and listening to her and hearing so much about it, especially, like I say, the galactic, I love the whole idea of the galactic family and the oneness and all that. All of a sudden, then I realized that everything is so interconnected because being a medium and being a healer is interconnected. Why? Because you've got energy, external energy that flows through your body. Same energy that flows through your body allows you to do the healing, but also allows you to do the readings. It gives you that energy. It's not, it's all universal. And I realized at that point that there was so much more that I was missing by not looking further. And that truly sparked my interest in and again, that's not what I'm known for, but
right.
I mean, in all honesty, I think it's fascinating to be able to, to study more of the contact, because I was brought up back in the time where everything was nuts and bolts and you had Nordic, the Nordic figures and, the men in black and the old Cadillacs and stuff. And now we're talking about interdimensional beings and all these energetic beings. And could all of this actually be hand in hand? And I remember Andrea talking about it one time, and it just blew my mind, because at that point I realized, now we're talking about energetic beings. We're talking about, we're talking about, and again, as a spiritualist, when you die, you're here, there, and everywhere. Why? Because you're an energetic being. You're an energetic being. So why can't this happen with intelligence from another planet? Why can't they be coming here? Why can't they be here, there, and everywhere? And right. And it's almost as if they can, again, do they come in crafts? I don't know. But I can tell you that there's something out there that can be seen. How many people have I just had Timmy Ellis and Brad Blair on my show, and we were talking about a craft. I think it went over Huron or Superior that they shot missiles at. It hit it apparently, but it was going so fast, But now, and of course, they're saying, "Oh no, it didn't happen," But yet, one missile missed, and it's on the floor, the lake floor, and the other and connected somehow. And yet, there was no debris. There was nothing. You look. I spent some time. My wife Nancy and I went down the Hudson River, and we spent some time in Sleepy Hollow, and that's like Craft Central. And right. That, again, they're talking about interdimensional beings. They're talking about interdimensional. They're talking about portals. They're talking about all this stuff that paranormal people have been talking about. And then you turn around and the crypto people, you got, not too far, like a couple hours drive from me, you have Presque Isle Beach 6, where you've got the 1966 combo UFO crypto guy walking around. It's all interconnected. And yep. Andrea was one of the very first people that realized that came out and actually said it in public. And that's what I love about her. I mean, she again, for me, she opened my eyes to like the possibilities, because, when you're a spiritualist, that's like, who made you? The universe made you. You are universe. It's like catechism, when you're part of the religion. Right. But yet, if you go and you strip off all the dogma, it fits in all the way around. And I swear to God, Andrea was so far ahead, and she's the one that got me thinking. And that's what's crazy about it, because Andrea, God damn you, because now I have to think for a lot, I was
her fault.
I was happy
she makes us think.
Yes, I was happy in my numbness. I had numbness, I just did my thing and I was numb. I didn't have to think. And now I have to think. Thanks a lot, Andrea. Thanks a lot.
Bill just let me know, a minute ago, that we were down to 5 minutes. So, yeah, Andrea has a way of making people think. But Tim and Mary, she was having experiences with not only haunting and ghost on that farm in Rhode Island, the Conjuring House.
Well, it's the same thing.
She was also having contact from galactics.
Yeah. So. This is the same thing. This is the same thing that I've seen, and I've gotten in my own research. Hinsdale House. When I interviewed Clara Miller, who lived up there during the height of because it's always been active, but during the height of the activity, she talked about crafts, and she talked about different things that went on up there that was not in the realm of the paranormal, but yet you could kind of push it in there. And there's so much going on. And Bill I remember he wrote I think it was his first book where he talked about about paranormal stuff going on. Yet I think he had contact, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's an experiencer, right? If I'm not mistaken.
He is. In fact, his first book is Experiencer.
So that's I remember I interviewed him when that first came out. So again, how many years ago is that, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's amazing, because she's been having all this her whole life. And many of us have done it too. We've all had the experiences. Yet, like in my case, I put it in a little box.
Right.
Because that was my, that was the, religious training that I had from a kid. So,
well, as Jonathan would say, Bill and his clock, we're down to 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
So, Tim, I'm going to say, if there's anything you want to say to Andrea, here's your opportunity. Just throw it out there.
Andrea, baby, you're just too good to be true. I can't take that good eye off of you. You be like heaven to touch. I want to hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived. And I thank God, baby, I'm alive. You're just too good to be true, Andrea, baby. I can't take that good eye off of you. Love you, Andrea. You know what? I'll be texting you soon. And always remember, wear clean underwear, kid, because you never know when somebody might come in. Off you go.
Mary, would you have anything to say?
Yeah, when I think back to that very first moment when I didn't even know who she was, and I got to hear her speak, and that was inspiring as it was enough, but to turn around and walk down the hallway and being somebody who knew absolutely nobody, but she took the time to greet me and hug me and make me feel loved, I will be forever eternally grateful for that kind of love.
Amen.
So thank you.
She, you know what? Wherever she went, you were never a stranger with her. And and all of us who have ever, when we first met her, she always made the effort to make us feel wanted and comfortable and loved and be part of the family. And that's what I loved about her. Yes. She's great. She's great. Now, Roger, he's just cantankerous, but he's French. What do you want?
Well, we're out of time. Thank you, Mary, for helping me here tonight and for joining in for Andrea. Thank you, Tim. We love you both. Andrea, we love you. Everybody out there, we love you. Thank you. Remember to always look up and to always be the light that you seek. Good night, everybody.